Thank you. So I call this flying the U2 flag forever, or until they got a cherry picker. So back before we had the internet as like a thing that you could just go and find all of like human information, there was this thing called text files, right? And text files you could find on BBSs. They were these sort of long compendiums of all kinds of nasty shit that you could do, like supergluing locks, and how to pick locks and break into Unix systems and all this stuff that seemed really cool when I was like 14 and in the basement. And there was this one about flagpoles, and it kind of stuck with me. Like, it was like how to fuck up a flagpole. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't think that'll be relevant to my life or anything, but sure, I'll just file that away for one day. So I was in high school with a bunch of people. That's me in the middle. The guy to the left actually created the Android operating system, which is totally random, has nothing to do with this story. The guy on the right was it's my good friend Dan, and we're sort of the central characters of this. But we lived outside Chicago. We were in a really nice place to live. Everything was fine. The high school was a little bit average, whatever. But for some reason, we hated high school. We just fucking hated it for no good reason whatsoever. I mean, probably because we were like 17. And just were always trying to figure out what we could do to really stick it to the man for no particular reason. So this particular episode started with a towel, and it was a towel that I had brought home from summer camp, and on one side it was white, and the other side it had the name of a law firm in Detroit. It was like Wolfson, Gray, and Robes or something like that. We took this towel, and we went to the middle school. I'm not sure why we went to the middle school, but we went in Dan's Ford Ranger, and we drove behind the middle school where there were no cameras, because this was the 90s. We laid it out, and with orange marking paint, we wrote U2 in big letters on the towel. And then we went to the high school. And our high school had a very tall flagpole. They were very proud of it, I guess. And we decided that, having read the text files, we're like, oh, here's what we're going to do. So here's how you break a flagpole. You've got, like, a flagpole's like a continuous loop of rope that you can, like, up and then down. And there's clips on it. And this one was built to hold 2 flags, so it had 4 clips. And, like, the towel was smaller than the flag, so we clipped it to the 2 middle clips, and then we took the last clip and clipped it back to the loop, and then you cut the line. And you just slip knot it up to the top of the flagpole. So this was like Sunday night. No one saw us, but it's like Monday, and we're teenagers, and we're like walking in expecting like the cops are going to be waiting for us, like all of them, like, here we go, kids, here we go. Well, oh, did I mention I also was the editor of the newspaper, and so on Monday we went in and like nothing happened, like there wasn't even an announcement. But so I ran the newspaper, and the newspaper came about. There was like this whole contest with the guy who had restarted the newspaper. It had been dead for 10 years, so it wasn't really a serious newspaper. We had a contest about who could miss the most days of school. I lost. I only missed 32 days in my last semester. Dan missed 51, and he still graduated. But in my role as editor-in-chief, I started to investigate this vandalism. And I went to the office, and I said, wow, did you see what happened to the flagpole? And they were like, yes, we did. Why do you ask? I'm like, well, I run the newspaper, so I thought I'd write a story about it. And here's my story, actually, about it. This issue was a bit short on the factual pieces. There was an incident. I didn't put really much into it other than, oh, wow, something happened to the flagpole. Now, this is Dan now. Actually, Dan is in a minorly famous metal band, which also has nothing to do with the story. But that's him on the left. He's the bassist in this band called Chemist. The other 3 are PhD sociology students. It's a very odd little metal band. But that was Dan then, this is Dan then, and here's his editorial, and it's like, it starts like, I can't even read it, like, it's pretty fucking ridiculous. So he just sort of goes on about, let's see if I can find the spot. So he starts with the facts, like, the details are hazy, but no one knows what's going on, and then he starts like, just laying into the school, right? Let's see. Very few things at Woodstock High School can cause me to break into a frenzy of pearly white grinning, and this was a needed break. For the first time, I felt happy to be on the grounds of the green and yellow tiled hole some like to call an educational institution. It goes on. I gave this talk for the first time, and I hadn't looked at this story in a while, and then I went back and read it, and it was worse than I remembered it. Like, it's so absolute, and there's a point where he says something about how these people are like the only people that have ever broken through to him. And so the only thing I can say is you too, Wolfson, Gray, and Leibowitz forever! If you want to see it, there it is, bit.ly, you two forever. You can actually see the issue.